Howdy, folks. It's Meandering Mike here in the Man Cave of Madness. It's the middle of the evening, and tonight we're going to take a look at States of Siege games. Today I got to watch Stuka Joe do a live stream as he played this game, Israeli Independence. I'm going to zoom in. This is the first game in the States of Siege system. It's the first Arab-Israeli War, 1948 to 1949. Now, notice that it is not part of the States of Siege series from Victory Point Game. This was battle lesson number 4, but this game innovated the States of Siege system as designed by Darren Leveloff and developed by Alan Emmerich. So, this is considered the first States of Siege game. But if you look at the States of Siege series, this one is labeled number 1. Yes, confusion. That means all the numbers are off. If you look at any States of Siege game in the series, that's really one number off. And to complicate that even more, as they came out with different versions, they kept upping the sequence, even though it's the same game. So like the Zulu game was number 2, and then it came out in the Ziploc, and then it came out like in a box, like this style box, and it was number whatever, and then they came out in a deluxe edition. Show that you back here, the deluxe edition, and that's like number 18 or something like that, and there's a bunch of confusion. Some of the things are misnumbered and they overlapped and all that stuff. So if you are confused, if you're trying to collect all these titles, yes, there is confusion. I'm going to go through the ones that I have so you know which games are available. There are also currently, Worthington Games is reprinting a number of these. I've done, I think, 4 now, maybe even 5. They've been issuing them as Kickstarters. And I don't know if they're going to do all this. They probably don't have the license to do all of them. But they are doing some of the ones that are harder to find. And I'll probably cover those in another video some other time. But, so, going back here, again, this is a typical States of Siege game. You notice this map here. There are usually 5 tracks coming in towards a central location, and the player is playing the force that's under siege, being attacked on 5 fronts, and they're trying to keep those forces back, keep them pushed back, and they're trying to survive. That's it in a nutshell. That is the general idea of the States of Siege game. There are some variation. I think there's some games that don't have 5 tracks. They might have 3 or 4 or 6 or something. I don't know. There's some special rules in Modern. Each have their certain amount of chrome or historical flavor, etc. But that is the general gist of it. I may open this one up later here and do a playthrough myself, but let's go on and look at the other one. So again, battle lesson number 4, Israeli Independence. This was the first States of Siege game. Then came Soviet Dawn. This is the Russian Civil War, 1918 to 1921. And there you see again, here is Moscow in the center, and there's 5 tracks coming in, advancing upon the center place. As the player, you're trying to resist those forces coming in there, putting you under siege, in the state of siege. Now, I'm going to make a quick little diversion here to make a rant on. Designers and publishers, don't do this. This is what's called Cyrillic abuse, mixing English letters and Cyrillic letters together. Okay? This is supposed to say Soviet Dawn. Well, that is not a W. That is the sh, the SH sound in Cyrillic. That's what that letter is. And this here, it looks kind of like a backwards N. That's not even a consonant. That's an E. That's a vowel, the long E. So if you tried to pronounce this combination of English and Cyrillic letters, it should be pronounced Dashi, not Dawn. The thing that looks like a backward R, that's not even a consonant. That's not an R. That's a Ya. That's a vowel, Ya. Ya by itself means I. So Ya panimayu means I understand in Russian. So don't do this. Don't do Cyrillic abuse. It looks silly. It's not really professional, so don't do it. Rant off. Okay, so Soviet Dawn. Oh, by the way, some of these have expansions. So Soviet Dawn, the expansion kit. The Israeli Independence also had an expansion kit. Okay. I do not have, at least in the Ziploc State, games number 3 and 4. Like I said, I think 3 might have been, well, of course, there's also number 2. 2, I think, was the Zulu game. 4, I think, might be the Lost Cause, which is the American Civil War from the South's perspective. I don't have that one. Again, some of these ones, like, I can't remember which was Dawn of the Zeds was originally 3 or something. This version here is like version 9, a second edition in the larger box. No, that's number 12. I think number 9 might have been the second edition Ziploc version or something. There's a whole slew of those ones that were reprinted multiple times. Again, I'll show you what I've got. Okay, here's Levy en Masse. All right, so that's the Wars of the French Revolution, 1789 to 1802. So obviously this continues into Napoleonic times. Again, you can see the traditional tracks coming in, fencing on Paris, and the French are trying to hold out against the people that are trying to stop their revolution and crush the French spirit. I believe there might be some, not all the games had expansions. I don't have them all. Some of them are very, very rare. Like the We Must Tell the Emperor. This expansion is really hard to find. You'll probably pay $100 just to get the expansion, which is something that probably cost $10 when it was released. So anyway, Levy en Masse, States of Siege number 5. Here is the Ottomans. This is number 6. This is what the code looks like on the back of this style box. So Victory Point Games series number 12 is their States of Siege series, game number 6. So I believe this one also had a Ziploc version, but this is one of the ones where they didn't give it a new number when it came out in the box. So I think both the Ziploc version and this are considered States of Siege game number 6. And again, remember, you have to add one of that, because this Battle Lesson number 4 game is really the very first States of Siege game. Confusing? Oh yes, I'll keep confusing you, because it is confusing. So Ottoman Sunset. So this is World War I, the Great War in the East, 1914, 1918. So the Ottoman Empire is, let's see, you probably can't see what about the glare. Okay, so there's Constantinople. At least it should be called there, because it wasn't called Istanbul, I think, until the 20s, or maybe as late as 1932 or something. Somewhere in between the mid-20s and that. Eventually the name got changed to Istanbul. But so you've got forces potentially European, Turkey that pressing in, the Brits can land, or the Romanians or whatnot, and you've got, pushes up from Palestine and elsewhere, the Russians coming in here. So again, Ottomans under siege, States of Siege. Will the Ottomans will they survive, or will they be crushed? All right, so that was number 6. Number 7, We Must Tell the Emperor. So this is obviously the Japanese emperor in World War II, the Great Pacific War, 1941 to 45. So of course you have them fighting the various Americans coming in, and the Chinese, and the Brits coming over from India, and you have Aussie Anzac guys, etc. Boy, is that even the Dutch? Which, they don't look like they have a long track. Most of these have like 5 or 6 links, but, the Dutch were in Java, and the various parts of the Dutch East Indies. And they're a good target, so they probably, historically got knocked out of the war very early. But so again, it's the same kind of pattern, but its own unique historical flavor. Number 7, definitely this one in this form is a great collector's item, and that expansion, oh my god, yeah. If anyone has the expansion and want to sell it to me cheap, you know, I will take it. I would gladly love to get one of those. Okay, they even went over into the non-historical, did a Fantasy Siege Warfare, and with expansion, the Book of Magic. So, again, forces coming in. Now, if you actually had a nice fantasy IP, like if you could afford to get, say, Tolkien's Lord of the Rings or something, and do something, maybe this is like, here we're in Minas Tirith and forces are coming, but that's a little more complicated. You got more going on there, so I don't know if that would be a good example. But I'm sure there's other fantasy IPs where you could maybe figure out what would be a good one to do a States of Siege game on. But so I don't know if this one has a little backstory to it to make it more interesting. But that's Legions of Darkness. All right. Number 10, that was 8. So number 9, I think, might have been the Ziploc version of either the Zulus or the Dawn of the Zeds. I can't remember. All right, Keep Up the Fire. This is the Box Rebellion in China in 1900. So you got American and British, the Japanese forces, all different folks that are involved. The internal, let's see, that's the Boxers. So the Chinese, like imperial governments, faced all these different forces coming to yeah, okay. And I don't think this one had an expansion. I'm not sure. Maybe it did. I don't have it, nonetheless. Okay. This one here, I'm going to zoom out real quick so you can get the bigger. I've got this. This is a homemade case that someone put together. They actually put a tray in there. So you can see there's a tray. And so this is I'm not sure if it was like a print and play version that they bought and put together. I mean, the price wise, it seems like it's not. Maybe some of these games, Victory Point Games, did in a large Ziploc, non-folded, or maybe it came into the large. They call these style here pizza boxes because the cardboard inside this slidey sleeve is very reminiscent of a cardboard pizza box, sort of. Obviously, small pizza, but this one, it was in a custom-made tray. The Siege of Malta. So Malta's trying to survive. You've got air forces coming in against them, naval forces. The Romulan Desert is going the backwards direction. It's like it's pushing this way, and so all the action is not centered on Malta. It's centered on Malta and Cairo. Like if Cairo falls, you'll lose. So you got to keep Malta from getting crushed and Cairo. So this one, it was a slight departure in the standard formula. This makes this one, relatively more complex. And this is one of the ones that Worthington redid, which is good because this was also a beast to find. I don't think this one had an expansion. I do not think this one had an expansion. But yeah, I had to pay a pretty penny to get this. That was before I knew about Worthington was gonna do a release. So, but anyway, I also bought the Worthington one too. I want to compare this. So at some point, I'll do a playthrough of both, compare and contrast, see if there's any differences. All right. Let's see. So that was number 11. I believe this version, Dawn of the Zeds. This is a Herman Luttman game. Oops. Ouch. Here. Dawn of the Zeds. Bonus map. Let's see. There he is. I knew he's on the cover here somewhere. This sort of turned out to be their best-selling, most popular. They did multiple versions of this. And I believe Dawn of the Zeds is still available from Tabletop Tycoons. They bought out Victory Point Games, and I think Nemo's War and Dawn of the Zeds are the two titles that they Tabletop acquired that are still doing strong. Yeah, there's things to talk about that as a future. There was some weird stuff going on with that acquisition. Anyway, yes, this is number 12, if you can see here. All right, so Dawn of the Zeds. Zombies. This was 14. Was Cruel Necessity, I believe, was 13. So this, again, in the larger pizza box. This is the English Civil War. This is a little different in the tracks. Don't look as track-like. They're actually moving through regions of Ireland and Scotland and advancing along. So this is a States of Siege game. It's number, can you see down there, without the glare, 13. Series 12, 013. All right. So number 14. Habsburg Eclipse. So this is just like the Ottoman sunset was the Ottomans during World War I. This is the Habsburg Empire, starting with the assassination of the Archduke by Serbian radicals, and that kicked off the whole World War I. All the, Austria decided that's it. We're going to war with Serbia. So versus we're going to got alliance with Serbia, and the Germans declared war on them, and France declared war on them, and back and forth. Everyone's declaring war on everybody. Isn't that fun? So Habsburg Eclipse. This is during 1914, 1918 with the Austro-Hungarian, the Habsburg Empire. All right, and that was number 14. Is this? Yes, 15. Mound Builders. Okay, this is designed by Ben Madison and Wes Ernie. States of Siege number 15. So this is set in pre-Columbian America, North America, with the Indian mound builders. And so this one I don't know much about. We can see, I don't know if I zoom in, I'll see that better. Some of the tracks, I'm not sure exactly what they represent. Various chieftains, economic, religious sphere. Your domain will grow and shrink. Rise and decline of cultural, religious, and economic way of life. All right, so extend the mound builder. So this sounds like a reverse States of Siege in that you're trying to expand. So I think you start in the center. Instead of everything crushing you in, I think you need to expand out amongst those paths. Before rival native powers and the smallpox-ridden Spanish rise up and drive you back to Mississippi heartland. So I guess maybe it's the same thing. You push them out, but then they try to push you back. So basically the same States of Siege mechanic, but there might be more flow back and forth along the lines. All right. So as you can see, great variety, a very eclectic set of games in the system. Let's see. That was number 15. This is 18. I'm not sure what number 17 was. That might be like another edition of something. So this is Empires in America. Let's see if I zoom out. All right, this is a big one, harder to see. Okay, so this is the French and Indian War. Okay, and can we see? There we go. Let's, zoom in on. There it is. So there you are. You're centered in Quebec. I guess there's that Montreal. I cannot read. Montreal. And so you're being expanded upon by various forces driving against you, trying to push you back and basically drive you out of your control of the St. Lawrence River. So can you defend New France? in empires in America. And let's go here. So, and the last one was the latest edition of. I didn't really look at this one either. This one here actually says that's number 19. It is in the box. There was some. I think I saw in Board Game Geek it's labeled. Something else was labeled as number 19. Like, what's going on here? So Zulu's on the Rampart. So this is the Battle of Rorke's Drift. If you have not seen the movie Zulu from the mid-60s with Michael Caine and Stanley Baker in it, you must go out. If you're a gamer of war games and historical games, you have got to see the movie Zulu. Not Zulu Dawn, which is or Shaka Zulu. The movie just Zulu. It's Michael Caine's film premiere. And so, of course, you have here, this is the station at Rorke's Drift, and the Zulus are attacking. They've surrounded the small British contingent. Days earlier, there was a massacre of the British column at Isandlwana, and these British here had gotten word, but it was too late for them to bug out, or they decided to stay anyway. And like 4,000 Zulus showed up here. Maybe it was about 100 Brits, 100 British soldiers and auxiliaries. And they managed to, I won't spoil it for you, no spoilers. So anyway, so this should be a good States of Siege game as the Zulus are coming in and trying to take over the compound and kill everybody. So, Zulus on the Rampart. And now, the last one. Dawn is in the latest. I'm going to zoom out. 3rd edition. This is sort of the premiere line. This is the super duper gold box deluxe treatment. Most of Victory Point games were, done on the cheap. And this one, they okay, we're going to market the heck out of this. Some people say, I've heard, that they like the 2nd edition better. I don't know what they've changed in this one, but some people said that the 2nd edition was the ultimate. Now, this version, they actually went back to doing expansions. I don't know if each expansion, add something, and it was designed in mind that, you don't necessarily need it, but it might add certain fun and flavor. Sometimes it smacks of just money grab to me when you have I'm going to at the same time come up with a game with 3 expansions. I see, over time, if a game comes out and you incrementally add to it, you improve it, you fix something, you maybe add additional players or, whatever. But yeah, so I can rant about that later. But so this is Dawn of the Zeds. This still may be available. Still may be in print from Tabletop Tycoon. So the Victory Point Games is sort of still out there as an imprint of Tabletop Tycoon. As a company in its own right, Victory Point Games was gone. It was bought out. But some of their legacy lives on. So this was, wow, that's 23 minutes. Right? So this is all my States of Siege game. It's almost all of them. I know I don't have the Lost Cause. There might have been 1 or 2 other ones that I don't have. I know I do not have the We Must Tell the Emperor expansion, which I hope Worthington Games is going to do. We Must Tell the Emperor. They are, then I don't have to worry about that. But let's call it quits there. I am going to go ahead and do some playthroughs maybe in the next month. I'm going to go ahead and definitely do. I was very inspired by watching Stuka Joe do his camera magic. As you know, with me, my anti-magic, fumbling around here. I'll do the best I can. But I will start playing Israeli Independence, the first States of Siege game from Battle Lesson number 4 series. But it is the first States of Siege game. It's just not the first in the States of Siege series, nowhere in this rule book, nowhere on the front or back cover cards is States of Siege mentioned. They had not coined the term yet. So that became a marketing term, a organizational term for building a line of games after this. So States of Siege, this is the first States of Siege game. But it's not. Okay, anyway, Meandering Mike, total madness, Mad Cave of Madness, meandering on, rambling on about States of Siege. We will play that very soon, very soon. So, going to sign out now. To all you folks out there, take care and ciao.